Remember how I said in a previous video that indie rock was a big musical genre? Well, there's one that's even bigger and covering even more area, including indie rock, alternative rock. Yes, from Hootie and the Blowfish to Linkin Park, REM to Barenaked Ladies, alt rock is a pretty big genre of music and is almost impossible to define. But if I were to take a shot, I would say that is this. When it comes to rock and roll, there is the rule and there are the exceptions. Alt rock is made up of the exceptions. And I'm bringing it up now because alternative rock has made a bit of a comeback with acts like Fun and Imagine Dragons having top 10 hits. However, there was a time when alt rock was at its prime, back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Great new bands were popping up left and right from as early as 1994 to as late as 2003. And today, we're gonna remember that with the top 10 list. Please keep in mind that I'm only taking into consideration acts that had at least a little presence on the charts at some point in their career. Please also keep in mind that this list is bound to be very subjective. If you have different opinions, that is fine. With that out of the way, let's get started with the top 10 alt-rock bands from the late 90s and early 2000s. This is a kind of weird way to start out the list. The first of the many one-hit wonders on this list, Semisonic is primarily known for their song Closing Time. But like most one-hit wonders, there's a lot more to Semisonic than just that one song. After listening to a few of their songs, I can accurately describe them as exactly how they look. Smart, nice, kinda dorky, and a lot of fun to listen to. But the thing that makes them stand out in the sea of lifehouses and trains is their surprising capacity of vulnerability. You especially get this from Closing Time, by far their best song. The fact that Mr. Glass's singer guy is not the best singer ever is actually advantageous in a lot of their songs. Semisonic is a bit more personalized and emotional than most alt-rock, and I respect them for that. They make a lot of soft music, but never in a way that feels boring. Semisonic is just a very solid and relatable band. They know who they want to take them home, and I know who I want to be on the number 10 spot on this list. Out of all of the bands here, this is the one I expect to get complaints about not putting higher on the list. Yeah, the thing about Pearl Jam is that while they're good at making music, their music is made by and for people who hate everything mainstream. This was the rebellious band, the one that refused to make music videos and boycotted Ticketmaster. I'm sorry, just that type of hipster stuff just turns me off, but that being said, I still really like their music. Pearl Jam is great at making complex and compelling arrangements. They have a lot of restraint and a rare quality in any genre of rock and roll. These people were storytellers, with interesting stories to tell and interesting ways to tell them. I would say that you should give them a listen, but let's face it, if you're the type of person who would be watching this list, you probably already have. If I were to describe the following band in one word, it would be bizarre. Smashing Pumpkins is a study on how far one could realistically take the weird. And whether you like them or not is dependent on whether or not you think they went too far. In my opinion, they didn't. Not really. I say that because they still put the music first and never used the bizarreness as a crutch. I really love their arrangements, especially on my favorite song from them, Tonight Tonight. The composition in this song is incredible. It was so good that His World sampled it. There is no way that is a coincidence. But if I were to nitpick, I would say that the lead singer leaves a little to be desired. I mean, it's not awful, it's just weird. I honestly have no idea what he was even trying to do with it. I should also mention that their name is a little confusing. What does it even mean? Are they physically smashing pumpkins, or are they pumpkins that are smashing, as in fabulous? The first option makes more sense, but the inclusion of the at the beginning implies the latter. It's all just a little bit confusing. But if my biggest complaint is their name, I really don't have much to complain about. Whether they're smashing pumpkins or just smashing pumpkins, they're still worth the number 8 slot on this list.
He said, tell me all your thoughts on God.
Yet another entry on the depressingly long list of one-hit alt-rock bands from this era, Dishwalla is one of the more interesting. Probably more than any other band on this list, Dishwalla's sound is more oriented to the stereotypical rock and roll than the type of sound alt-rock usually has. Most people only know them as the people who made Counting Blue Cars from 1996. After listening to some more Dishwalla songs, I can clearly say that they deserve better. They were just a really good band. They had this passion and sincerity as well as talent. So what happened? Maybe it was the heavy sound, maybe it was their religious overtones, I'm not sure. What I am sure is that these guys deserved better. I would definitely recommend giving them a listen. And that's all the females on this list. Anyway, Garbage. I love their music. It really says a lot how relatable they are, because most of their songs are downers, really. But the compelling thing about it is that they're dark mainly because of the sad realism that they have. It isn't the dark of the surreal, it's the dark of the hyper-real. And there's something poignant about that, because real life kind of sucks. Hyper-realism being framed as a bad thing is hardly new, but usually it just comes off as depressing. Their music is never depressing, because they have great arrangements and they still have Shirley Manson. Shirley Manson is the heart of Garbage. She's always giving it her all, even if she's doing things that are kind of silly. And, as I've already said, they managed to be the only thing in The World Is Not Enough that wasn't garbage. We've seen a lot of weird names, but none of them are this baffling. What is a verve pipe? Is it a pipe made of verve, or is it verve flowing through a normal pipe? Well, either way, verve is not something realistic enough to either flow through a pipe or be used to make said pipe. Or is it the smoking kind of pipe? Can you smoke verve? And the use of the specific article and not the non-specific article implies that there's only one verve pipe. Why is there only one verve pipe? No, wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the verve pipe. They are really good. They're mainly just known for their one hit in 1997, The Freshman. The Verve Pipe is a pretty versatile group, though. If you only listen to that song, you would probably assume that they're kind of like Garbage. No, not Garbage. Garbage. We're not doing that joke. But they have a very wide range. Like, take for instance their single from 2001, Never Let You Down. I swear I've heard this song before I started making this list. Maybe it was on Pandora once, I don't know. The Verve Pipe is definitely the most obscure band on this list. I didn't know about them at all before I started this list, but I'm happy I know about them now. You can relax, they're on the list.
Running in circles, coming in tails, heads on a
The thing about Coldplay is that they're good at making pretty music. They've always been good at it, and they probably always will. The arrangements are complex, but not challenging. The lyrics are high concept, but not pretentious. They are genetically engineered to have hit after hit. In fact, they're the only band on this list that still have hits today. In a weird way, Coldplay has almost become this generation's answer to the Beatles, only with a lot less chart presence. I mean, think about it. They're British, they're considered a higher level of pop music, a large percentage of the American population likes them, and they managed to score a #1 single during a time when neither rock songs nor British music had much chart success over here in the States. Coldplay is a rare case of an act that started out good and stayed consistent throughout their whole career thus far. Coldplay has a comfort zone, though. It's a good comfort zone, but the point is that they haven't really strayed from it. Despite that, Coldplay is still a wonderful band, from 2000 to today. Even more than Semisonic, Jimmy Eat World has a lot of personalized and emotional music. Usually when that happens, it sounds really whiny, but not in this case at all. It's a great band with tight instrumentation and a good lead singer. And like I said before, they have a lot of emotional music, but that doesn't mean they can't have fun once in a while, made evidenced by their only hit, The Middle. As good as all the bands on this list are, most of them are so serious. It's refreshing to see someone having fun for a change. Once again, their best song has to be their biggest hit, The Middle. And it's nice to see, after so much dark music, a band that makes stuff so positive. And the award for stupidest band name of all time goes to the Goo Goo Dolls! Despite their silly name, this band is one of those bands that most people know about and most people love. Excluding one other band, and that's Coldplay, the Goo Goo Dolls is definitely the band with the most commercial success on this list, with 5 top 20 singles under their belts. It's also ironic how mature and well-written a band called the Goo Goo Dolls is. If I were to choose a signature song from them, it would probably be Iris. Iris is one of those songs that most people have heard many times, but few people actually know the name of. Usually when that happens, it's because the song was used in a movie people want to forget. I'm looking at you, City of Angels. Anyway, Iris. This song pretty much sums up great alt-rock lyrics from the era. It's personal but relatable. It's philosophical but approachable. It's one of the songs that have obtained timelessness, which is no small feat in 1998, right in the middle of a very dated era of rock. Here's another thing I should mention. The lead singer made the best song in Treasure Planet, I'm Still Here. Eat your heart out, Phil Collins. And this brings us to number 1. I would like you to guess what it is. Here's a hint. If there was ever a band that deserved another hit, it was the Verve. They are pretty much the more exciting Coldplay. this band hit the sweet spot of alt-rock that is almost impossible to obtain. They had the high concept but still relatable lyrics. They had the so big they were almost orchestral arrangements. The Verve was lightning in a jar, a band not really seen before or since, but sadly they only had one hit over here in the States. But at least that one hit was one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion, Bittersweet Symphony. If Iris is a study of alt-rock lyrics, Bittersweet Symphony is a study of alt-rock composition. It takes a lot of talent for one song to be big and epic enough to actually warrant being 6 minutes long. The Verve as a band can honestly be summed up with this song alone. If you want a band that makes incredible alt-rock music, or if you want a band that just makes great music in general, this is it. This is a band that made alternative rock the way it was meant to be. And that is more than enough to warrant the #1 spot on this list.